Daniel 4:17. This is a matter by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So the lords of men are ruling in the earth right now. And that people are the biblical Edomites. Call halal Yahweh Bashanam Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to the 144,000 and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that are like unto the speckled bird among the heathen, that look like the heathen. All right. And this is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this is just going to be a quick lesson, a video that I was listening to these people throw this distraction and this rant. Because you have to remember, you know, if you're looking over his, if you're looking at the screen, it will be his left, but on the right side of the screen, over his left shoulder, you see a flag and you see a eagle, which is representation of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. That is his you know, he exalts himself as the eagle. What you have to understand is the body are the people, and the wings is the left and the right-hand side. This guy's a Republican. So he just represents one of those wings. And the Democrats that he's complaining about represent the other wing. But they're attached to the same hateful bird ruling over the world. He's sitting on top of a globe. All right? And the earth set up that eagle. He set up, and they're doing their job, because what they're doing is they're destroying America from the inside out. And this is all a part of the plan so that they can have their one world rule. All right? Because America cannot be sustained on the path that it's on. It's already too late for America. All right? And the foreign troops are already here, and you already got the conflicts already sparked up. So all it takes is for them to kick off, and your soldiers, off they go. Fulfilling scripture, off goes the Northern Army to the other parts of the world, and they're never going to come back. Meanwhile, the foreign soldiers are going to be here spoiling their houses and ravishing their wives. That's exactly what's about to happen. But let's let him speak. I'm going to play about, this is like a, you know, almost a 20-minute video. I'm only going to play about 4, maybe 5 minutes of it, but here we go.
Folks who think it is their right to break the law. The bottom line here is this. Every homeowner in Rockland County and across the state of New York must recognize that we have town codes for a reason. We have a fire code for a reason. And we have to protect the health and well-being and the safety of our residents and our first responders.
So this is setting up the perfect scenario for Esau Edom to come in and do lockdowns and things on the people, because with the overcrowding of America, and with all these migrants coming in, many illegally, a lot, you know, and all this other stuff, you know, America was built illegally. You know, the people who came here and built America came here illegally, but you know that who, you know, but I digress. But nevertheless, this is going to be a perfect scenario to say that the disease is spreading. All right. See, these people, you know, some of them are going to pop up with the big C word and other diseases. And then they're going to use this all as an excuse to bring the whole thing down, which is going to, you know, eventually come to civil unrest. All right. And somehow at the end of it, they're going to blame the Israelites. That's exactly what they're going to do. And this won't be the first time that they tried this during the time of Antiochus. You know, he tried to bring everybody together. I just saw a video where George Bush Sr. was talking about the thousand lights, you know, and how when he passed on as president, when he lost to Clinton, how he asked, you know, and Clinton brought up that fact that he would push forth those lights. All right, these illuminated ones, meaning proving exactly what I just said. The left and right hand side of the bird serve the same body, the same bird. And their purpose is to push forth that light, this one world order, all right, that's blind to righteousness, all right, and establish their own righteousness. Okay? Um, which makes me think of Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter. And this is Wisdom of Solomon 2:1. It says, "For the ungodly said reason within themselves, but not our right. Our life is short and tedious, and the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave." All right, and and this is how a lot of them think, or a lot of them know that that's not true. They know that you regenerate. They know that Yahushua came back, and they know that Yahushua also resurrected people. They also know that people actually regenerate, but they're in denial of this truth. All right. Which makes me think of the movie I watched yesterday. I watched it, A Haunting in Venice. All right, and it just goes in. The guy was like, "I don't believe in God. I don't believe anything after. And once you die, it's just darkness. It's over." You know. But and so a lot of them still have that mindset. They believe in themselves. Do as thy wilt. All right. And it says, "Which being extinguished, our bodies shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as a soft air." No, your spirit goes back to the Father, and He sends you back up to the third and fourth generation. "And our name shall be forgotten in time. No man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist, and driven away with the beams of the sun, and overcome with heat thereof." Now, truth be said, this scripture is very powerful, because that exactly is going to happen to Esau, Edom, but not until after his 1,000 years of slavery. All right, and then when the world goes on forever and ever, under the righteous rule of the Israelites, under the authority of King David, under the authority of Yahushua, all right, so many millennium will go by to a people will forget or don't even believe that they ever existed, because there will be no one who even looks like the people that you see on the screen. 10 millennium from now, you're gonna have to go into an old library, look like you in a library in one of those Harry Potter movies with the little small headed dwarf looking dudes. All right, and you have to get up on a ladder and climb up 3 stories to the top of a shelf to get an old dusty cobweb covered book and blow the dust off of it to open it up to show that these people once existed. The youth are not going to believe it. They're going to telling stories about them will be like telling ghost stories, the boogeyman. It's like nobody like that ever existed. That never happened, because so many millennium will have gone by, and then you won't have to see people that look like these people on the screen. All right. And so, but let me jump down to verse 7. "Let us fill ourselves with costly wine or ointments, and let no flower by the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For our portion and our lot is this." And they do. And they leave their portions everywhere, because they leave death and destruction and depleted resources in beautiful places. They take beautiful places and turn them into ghettos. They destroy them. Ecosystems. White sand beaches. All the coral reefs die, and why? Because all the chemicals from the sunblock that's on their skin, and as they visit those places in the millions, and then that stuff poisons the water. All right. How can you be the Lord's chosen people and you can't even go in the sun without getting sick and dying as a result of it? And then you put stuff on your skin to protect you, which destroys the environment, kills the ecosystem. This is insane. All right. And then you set forth rules that destroy your own, like you're about to hear.
This is unacceptable. And I think the investigation that is underway will hopefully get to the bottom of who is behind moving migrants from New York City up to Rockland County and across.
It's clear that it's the Democrats. the Democrats are being used to be the antagonists in this, to bring it down of America, which is also going to fuel the insurrections, the divisions, and the Civil War. This is all planned. All right. Not only did America have planned obsolescence in its products, so that you'd always have to buy and return them or get them repaired, but America itself is planned obsolescence. They want to destroy it from within and then rebuild again. But they're going to fail. The Lord is not going to allow them. All right. They're going forth with their new world order. They're pushing hard for it.
The Hudson Valley. And if it is found that Eric Adams and his administration are somehow involved, they need to be held accountable. This cannot continue, period. The failure here is on multiple levels. Since Joe Biden took office, nearly 6 million migrants have crossed our southern border, most of them illegally. This administration, going back 2 years, was flying migrants to Westchester County Airport, long before southern states were ever moving migrants to New York. This administration was. The southern border has been overrun, and these communities
they're overrunning all those small towns, and try that in the small town spirit, even though it's failing, it's failing miserably. It's showing you that it was just all talk, but eventually, some of these places are going to strike back, as you can see the buildup happening.
Cannot handle it. And so Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul, in their infinite wisdom, and the Democratic politicians in New York and New York City believe that we should be a sanctuary city and sanctuary state. They believe we should not cooperate with ICE or law enforcement officials. And they have used taxpayer funds to provide free housing, free health care, free education, free food, free clothing.
And then when there's things, that the citizens needs, it's not there. All right. Majority of your homeless, in America is in California. They're not helping those people collectively. And the majority of those people are war veterans, and the Bible speaks against a man of war. There should even be no such thing as a woman of war, but the Bible speaks clearly against a man that he hates, a man of war being poor. Someone could put that on the comment board if they would, that scripture, Bob Kasha. But, that's an abomination in the eyes of the Lord. All right. Because when you go back and you read, the kings of Israel, especially the mightiest king of all, with King David, all right, who was king over Israel forever, he made sure that all his men of war, their households were taken care of first. They shared in the spoils. So he made the nation rich, but he also made them wealthy, them to be well off too. And set the example. All right. But America sends its people off and then they go fight these unrighteous wars, and they get over there and realize that they're not fighting terrorists. They're actually fighting, just a guy who's trying to defend his household, because he, trying to defend his way of life, because he doesn't want his daughter to be alphabet lifestyle, his son to be alphabet lifestyle. He don't want them twerking, right? And that man gets labeled a terrorist and an insurgent in his own home. And he's getting his door kicked in, and then he gets, killed and murdered and his land taken. Well, killed for defending his own house and his own home and called a terrorist. All right? That's what these people do. And this is what they've been doing, and the world is starting to recognize it, and the world is turning against them. So not only is this division going on in America, this division is going on also with America's allies around the world, worldwide.
With no accountability. And so what happens? We now have had over 100,000 migrants come to New York City in just the last year. They can't handle it. And let's be clear, this is not about being against immigration. I've said many times before, my wife is an immigrant. I've been through this process. It is a fundamentally broken one. But we have to have a process that works. Just having open borders in a sanctuary city, refusal to cooperate with ICE, the right to shelter, You heard Eric Adams just a week ago. This is a disaster for New York. Now, earlier this year, House Republicans passed H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader of New York State, from New York State, doing absolutely nothing. Silent. What happened to those Sunday press conferences? It's an absolute joke. We have to stop this massive influx of migrants at the border. We need more court personnel to hear these asylum cases expeditiously. It should not be taking 2 to 3 years to have these cases heard. And by the way, when they are finally heard, nearly 70% of them are rejected. This is a crisis, and it requires action at the federal level. The president needs to work with House Republicans, and Chuck Schumer needs to get off his behind and do something. He represents New York State. Silence.
So what's going to happen is, like I said, all this was an excuse to bring in all these foreign troops, which are already here. All right. And they're going to, as a matter of fact, let me go to 2nd Ezra 16. I'm going to start at verse 70. I'm going to start at verse 69. All right. And it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot, because a lot of our people consent unto this wicked left and right hand side government. All right. For they shall be in every place, and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So those of us that believe, they're going to come against us. They already are. And eventually it's going to get physical. All right. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. And they're going to be destroying, and the 2/3 are going to be getting it too. All right. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right. Because I just watched a video where the woman was pointing out 15,000 men in Texas, and how these men have been without women. They've been without housing. And basically, she was saying, if you're a woman and you live alone, if you're a father or a husband or a brother, and you got, sisters, aunts, cousins, and et cetera, you need to figure out how to protect them, because these men are going to eventually go out looking for homes. They're going to get tired of sleeping on cots and sleeping on the streets. And they're going to go start finding homes. And they're going to be looking for food, shelter, and comfort. They're going to be looking for sex. They're going to be looking for women. All right. And as they begin to check out the neighborhoods, they're going to see the homes that there are no men going into. Those will be the first targets. Not to say that, I've often said a lot of men are going to get beat up, killed, tied up, or forced to listen to or watch their wives and daughters get ravished right here in America. It is going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. All right? Because a lot of those men are soldiers and former gangbangers, and they gangbang differently south of the border. These cats in America, even in crazy ass Chicago, they don't, man, the way that the MS-13 cartel, deal get down, they on a whole nother level, man. All right. But it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall it be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Because you're going to learn who the chosen men are, because they're going to be the ones that nobody messes with. They're going to be the ones that standard is going to get lifted up against wickedness, and they're going to be unstoppable. So the marauders will die horribly trying to come at the men of the Lord. All right? Or at their women or their families. These things are on the verge of happening. All right? And woe to you women who were once with men of the Lord and thought that you had time, because time has pretty much ran out.
It's unacceptable. So all of us collectively have to work to secure our border. And Governor Hochul needs to stand up to Mayor Adams and protect counties outside the city of New York. She represents everybody. This cannot just continue to be a situation where the city of New York dumps its problem on other people's doorsteps because of their failed policies that don't work. And thank God for Ed Day. Ed Day and I stood together in March, and we sounded the alarm on this issue. We were called all sorts of names by my Democratic colleagues. They called us racist. They called us bigoted. We were raising the alarm because this is unsustainable. And people.
And he spoke a truth there. This is completely unsustainable. Let me go to Isaiah. This is Isaiah 13. I'm going to start at verse 8. And it reads, "And they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it." So the Lord is going to turn loose these foreign troops on you, man. And you're gonna, and not to mention, the Americans are also going to be turning on each other. So it's just going to be a free fall, because it's going to be Americans versus the troops, Americans versus each other. All right, it's just going to be a free for all. You're going to have class wars, race wars, neighborhood wars. The gangs are going to get involved. You're going to have your marauders. All right, that are going against everybody. Because you're going to have marauders that are actually going against the military, trying to take their stuff. All right, because the military is going to be well armed and well fed. So you're going to have guys that's going to be planning attacks on them. It's just going to be crazy, man. All right, because a lot of these Americans are also former military, and they're gonna click up, and some of them are going to click up to protect, and some of them are going to click up to assault. And then sometimes they are going to clash. It's going to get crazy, I'm telling you. It says, "For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine." All right, because there's going to be darkness in the land. All the power is going to be taken away. So once the sun goes down, it's going to be bad during the daylight. When the sun goes down, it's going to be like the Forever Purge. All right. If you haven't seen those Purge movies, I suggest you watch them. All right. Just to get your mind right. Okay. It's going to be devious, crazy things going on. "And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." All right. So Esau's going to get put down. All right. His haughtiness and his pride is going to be destroyed, because all this. And so he's going to allow all this craziness to happen so that he can bring forth his new world order, but then he's going to fail, right? Because he's going to bring all this destruction and chaos so that the people will submit to the new way, and so that the people will disregard the Constitution. The Constitution is in the way of the new world order. The Constitution and the Bible, two things that need to be gotten rid of. And basically, in fake Christianity, they've already discarded it for the most part. They don't follow the Bible anyway. They kind of lump the Bible in with Christianity, and Christianity is false. All right. But it says, "Therefore I will shake the heavens and the earth, and the earth shall be removed out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and the day of his fierce anger." So once them, I skipped something. Let me go back to verse 11. "I will punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man of the golden wedge of Ophir." So, the men of the Lord are going to become very precious. Why? Because none of these things, Psalms 54:17, "No weapon formed against them shall prosper." All right. Or the many wives that they collect at that time. All right. Because I still corrected. I said 7-1. That was years ago. It's the women outnumber men on average 14-1 worldwide. 7 is a number of completion. So when these women begin to seek out the men of the Lord, and the men of the Lord are gonna be very choosy. All right, very choosy. All right, and you tatted up, hot girl summer women. You're gonna be, you're gonna be fuel for the fire to all these migrant men and soldiers. And you're gonna get caught up in that ravishing, because when all this craziness is going on, women are gonna be traded and sold and traded like cigarettes in a prison block. All right, you're gonna get used and misused, and that's what's coming. Let me finish right here, and it says, "And it shall be as a chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up, and they shall turn every man to his own people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land." All right. "And everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. And their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished." With that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Kwam Yasarala, Shalom.